We are live. Literally just got into the stage. You have the SMT, your host with the sometimes most, and his group of homies, the Sneedles. And we got the SMT Nation Ryan with us tonight. It looks like we've got a couple that already stopped by. This is pretty much the time I used to start. I used to start at 9 o'clock, and then it kind of crept up earlier as I was trying to, like eat dinner and all of that stuff. But the schedule has stabilized, and I can kind of get back to the way that the timing used to work with the podcast. So, again, the goal with the podcast is to come in around an hour, sometimes more. Just kind of depends. Where is the conversation going and who's here? Usually, the more people that are here, the longer the conversation can be, because everybody chimes in, gives their opinion and their insight, and you know how it goes. So it can be messy sometimes, but it's good that way. I will say that it is definitely Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is definitely June 7th, 2020, here in the United States of America. I'm guessing anywhere east of that, it's already June 8th, if you're watching this live. So regardless of where you are watching this, regardless of what you are doing, if you are eating, drinking, sleeping, or something, I don't know if you like half asleep, half awake, working, sitting in front of your computer, watching this on your handheld, and regardless of your carrier, we are glad that you are here to watch and tune in and listen to our meaningless rants on things that are so trivial yet so enjoyable for us. So I do want to welcome a couple of my moderators that are here. Rafi, thank you for being here and taking care of business as usual. The trusty Rafael, always here and holding it down. Thank you for that. And Pete, usually Pete joins us on Sundays, so you never know, he might pop in. If not, he'll be here in spirit, and he'll be holding down moderating duties, I'm sure. Robert, it is good to have you. Brennan, good to have you as well. The Nintendo 504 is in the house officially. Thank you for the audio and the video check, Raf. Teletech, appreciate you stopping by and being a part of the show tonight. Good to have you. And Jared is here as well. Obed, good to have you also. The homie Matt Dub is here. The homie Mike Dub is here. Max is here. And Cesar is here, amongst other Cesars that occasionally stop by. Vlad with the goats. Got the Billy Goat Gruff, the trio. Tim is here. Wonder if he'll be stopping by. He sometimes does, or usually does. Jessica's here. Good to have you. Jay Solo is also here. Michael is in the house. Nope, it just jumped on me. Yeah, we'll talk about the topic. We'll take care of that. Hey, what's up, Ram? Good to have you. Half awake. Yeah. What's up, Darius? Good to see you, man. Corey is also here. Code is here. Good to have you guys. Mike P, my dude, newest member of the SMT Patreon. Welcome to you, sir. Glad you could be a part of the community, and we're excited to have you as the community grows, and we continue to bring the content that the people need. We also have Prince, who's stopping by. Miku, good to see you. Been a while. Good to see you, friend. GS is here. Appreciate you stopping by. Seldana Tech in the house. The homie Bobby is here. And I think that's everybody up till now. Oops, I take that back. The homie Tony Phony Baloney is here. So, before I get going with today's topic and how we're going to kind of navigate through tonight's banter, the SMT Patreon page, a collection of growing network tech enthusiasts. The SMT Patreon page has 4 tiers now, has expanded. There is a $1, $2, and a $3 tier traditionally, and we have since added the $5 tier, the Sneed Army tier, which allows you to get access to the StreamYard link to come on and hang out with the peoples on the Patreon exclusive podcasts. There's early access to videos. There's exclusive videos and such. Join a community of like-minded network tech enthusiasts. Take your SMT fix to the next level. We also have a link to the Twitter handle at SMT Tech, and the Megadon.net invite code is also there. The social media platform of the future. Never need another social media platform ever again. No algorithms, no ads, and no tracking. Megadon.net. How you like that, Caleb?
I like it. It's good.
Yeah. We got JP just coming in here. We got Nikki T. Good to see you, friend. Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right, Robert, good to have you. Okay. All right. So here's how I want to start the show today, Caleb. Based on the title of the podcast, are you kind of clear on what I want to do with the podcast tonight?
I have a pretty good idea.
Essentially, what I want to do is I want to go into the nation, the SMT nation, and ask the question, why is it that you have chosen to use a certain network provider? You have options, right? Thanks, Tone. Appreciate you, man. The $5 super chat for the good times. Thanks, man. Very nice of you, and thank you for the generosity and the super chat. Hopefully, the floodgates open with that one. Thanks, man. Maybe Tony, you could tell us which carrier you use and why, and then we'll kind of go from there. So you have all types of choices here in the United States. You have, in its basic form, you can use postpaid service, you can use prepaid service. The only thing that is different, technically, is when you pay your bill, essentially. The features can vary, the network priority can vary, but that's essentially the difference between postpaid and prepaid. And there are even times where we see that line start to blur. There are some prepaid operators that kind of act like postpaid, like Google Feye, for example, where you pay at the end of the month, even though it's technically a prepaid service. Traditionally, I think the more accurate term would be MVNO, right? So you could use an MVNO of a certain provider. You can use a prepaid arm of a certain provider. You can use the prepaid service proper, like Verizon prepaid or Visible. Like, there's so many different ways to get service here. And everybody has made a decision. And then sometimes they make a decision to come and go. Sometimes they go back to the original provider. Like, there's all these things that play a part into what they do and why. So what I want to do is I want to start, because I'm a selfish bastard, and I'm going to tell you why I choose the carrier I do. I do have to say that it's a little bit different for me because I have multiple providers in the case of testing. But there was a point, probably for about 20 years, where I only used a single provider, and there was a reason for that. So I'm going to kind of use that angle in how I present my take on it. Carlos, welcome to you, man. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Hey, life is good, bro. No complaints. I'm going with the topic today. Why do people choose the carrier that they use, the wireless provider? And there's lots of reasons. And I was just kind of explaining, prepaid, postpaid, MVNOs, MNOs, stuff like that. So there's that part. It could be a money situation. It could be a network situation. There's all these different things. I just want to give my take on why it is that I choose the carrier I do. Now, I was just saying that I have all the providers now, so it's a little different now. But when I had only one, I'm going to explain my thought process as to why I used that one for 20 years only, and I didn't need anybody else, right? Yep. Here are my 5 things that I consider to be the most important things when considering a wireless provider. So I'm not going to put them in order. I'll put them in order at the end. And you guys can kind of start to derive your take on it. What are the most important things to you? And then what's your order? Like your top 5 or whatever. I'm just going to give you guys 5 things. All right. This is not a number. This is just one of the 5 things. Cost. A lot of people may put this at the top of their list. It is not my number one priority. It is not. I'll tell you guys right now. Spoiler alert. Cost is not how I make my decision on my provider as primary or my only. Cost includes your perception of value. Cost includes whether you are getting a single line or a multi-line, like a family plan. Does the provider offer you certain types of discounts with auto pay? You know, are they giving you some kind of a deal on a phone? That matters to some people, right? But I think at the end of the day, the cost, what is my bill going to be at the end of the month? And another thing about that, I think also is the predictability of cost. There are some carriers, like it's pretty crazy. Like the bill changes every month. Well, that's kind of weird. And a lot of people don't understand that. They haven't moved. Certain things have not changed. Why is my bill $1.50 less this month, but $2.50 more the next month? You know, like that's kind of weird. Some people have like 7 lines on their plan. Some people have 10. Some people have 3. You know, multi-line discounts might be less important if they only have 2 lines, you know. So cost, obviously a big factor for some. I put that in there for sure. I think it would be neglectful to downplay cost for some people. Thanks for the super chat, Cesar. I'll come back to that. It's a little bit off topic, but I will come back to it, I promise. Okay, so just don't forget to ask me later. Another thing that I think is an important factor is phone selection and phone compatibility with cellular band compatibility. Here's why this is important. There are some people that really want a certain device. Let's say it's a OnePlus device a few years ago, right? OnePlus was this up-and-coming brand that people really wanted to get their hands on, but only certain providers would activate it on their service. So that basically, if you wanted a OnePlus, you couldn't have Verizon, right? You had to be a GSM carrier, right? So you couldn't do Sprint either, right? So that's kind of like a thing sometimes. I also look at some phones and them being like carrier specific, like exclusives. That can play a factor too, right? Yasmin, come here. Yasmin just coming back from Pittsburgh. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
That's you see Uncle Carlos chilling in the chair, right? All right. So I think the phone compatibility, while it's not a big deal for me, I was always able to just work with a different phone. You know, like for some, it's make or break. You know, Uncle Rafael says hi.
Okay, Mama.
You going upstairs? Good night, Papa. What's all over your mouth? What's all over your mouth?
That was ice cream from Pittsburgh.
Ice cream from Pittsburgh. All right.
Yeah.
Your mouth is like Smurf blue.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough, Yasmin.
That's it.
Yeah, Yasmin's living the successful life, bro. Purple.
That's right.
Blue
Oh,
tongue.
That's right.
Stop eating Smurfs. Right? You look so tall. I didn't see them for 3 days. It's like she grew like 3 inches or something. Yeah, thanks, Vlad. Appreciate you. Thanks, J Solo. Yeah, she's the best. She's a little princess. All right, so the phone selection and the phone compatibility with certain bands and stuff, that's a factor too. Next, I think features. You know, I think features are important. I'm talking like video resolution, video playback. Will they give you 720p? Will they give you 1080p? You know, sometimes it's where does that pricing fall? Tethering data allowance, I think, is important for some people if they have a tablet or an iPad. I also think like, you know, video streaming services that are included. One of the things that I think makes T-Mobile so attractive is the Netflix on Us. It's become such an important entertainment application. The Hulu Live or Hulu is another one. You know, when you think about Sprint, Verizon adds Disney Plus. It changes a lot for some people in terms of value. Maybe Disney Plus prevented Verizon from losing customers, you know, as they saw the binge on us and the Netflix on us. So, you know, like I think of features and stuff like that. There's others. I just wanted to name a few. Then we have predictability. And by predictability, you know what you're getting into every month. Cost, network performance, like you know what you're getting into. Like January is the same as February. February is the same as March. You get what I'm saying? Like you know what you're getting out of them. It's not going to be no up and down. It's not going to be random. You know, it's predictability. And actually, I think this also comes into play. Like you're not going to have any worries about customer care if something happens. That's predictable. Good customer care. being able to solve your problems, no doubts, getting explanations to questions and answers when you need them, stuff like that. And then I think it's pretty clear where I'm going with this last one. Reliability of the network. I know I could have just called this network performance, but I'm not willing to just call it network performance. I'm going to call it network reliability. The reason why carriers want their network so fast in certain places is because of the capacity that's required there. So if you get 250 megabits per second on a tower, or if you get 750 megabits per second on a tower, it's not about you. The next person who says to me, I don't need 750 megabits per second on my phone. Well, no crap, you don't. But that's not who it's for. Your phone does not matter to the carrier developing and configuring that tower. It's the other 1,000 phones connecting to that tower that matter. You are just one phone on a tower site at any given moment. There are dozens, if not hundreds of others, right, Caleb?
That's right. All phones matter.
All phones matter. Damn, bro. So relevant. So, like, when people jump onto my comment section of my videos where we're speed testing and we're doing millimeter wave, I don't know how to explain it to them any other way. It's like banging your head up against the wall. It's not about you needing a gigabit per second. It's about the network never failing. It's about the network never bottoming out and dropping to 0 megabits per second when you need to make a call, or you need to transmit some form of a data connection to run an app or to upload a photo.
So you're basically talking about every single day in Raleigh, North Carolina at rush hour when you can't make a phone call on Verizon. I can't use T-Mobile from 4 to 6 p.m. every day at work because the network is so congested.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So the LTE performance counts in this reliability of the network. The speeds count because the higher the speed, the more capacity. The consistency that Carlos preaches about, where he doesn't feel compelled to test the network. He just sees that his music is playing or his video is loaded or he's able to stream his Periscope, right? The tethering performance matters. We use hotspot. I do. I use about 15 gigs of hotspot on my Verizon line. I use about 2 gigs on my T-Mobile line. I use about 100 gigs on my AT&T line. I pretty much use it very, very consistently. The quality of the data transmission matters. I don't want 50 megabits and then 2, and then when I'm trying to upload a video, it takes 2 hours, right? Do my messages get through? Are they sending doubles or triples? And then people are saying, what the heck is going on? Does my video connect right away, or am I sitting around waiting for it to load, and is it buffering?
Can we pause there for a second? Caleb, what causes that when you get triples or even more text messages from whoever it is you're talking to?
That's usually we call those. That's usually like has to do with like switching, like switch issues. Because usually sometimes you're not the only person in the area that has that issue. Sometimes you'll have other users on the same network in that same area that have that same issue for like triple texting, stuff like that.
Usually it only happens when you have really weak signal, like you're right on that cell side edge.
Yeah,
that can happen. And then it goes through and then it resends. Yeah.
That can happen. That can happen too. It can also be a tower issue. It can be a combination of both sometimes. But usually it's basically, it just, going from the cell phone tower to the switch and to your destination, sometimes it gets garbled in there. And it has to do what's called like, a retry. Sometimes it just, will send, 2 or 3 times, it basically it's the system doesn't know if it's sent or not. So it just to send it a couple more times. So that's how that happens.
So if you guys caught my order that I did this in, it's actually backwards. I went from 5 to 1. 5 to me was cost. I'm not in a position where the cost is the most important thing to which provider I choose. That's a good problem to have. I'm blessed. I have the opportunity to be fully employed. I work multiple jobs. I have a fair wage. Money's not really an issue for me when choosing a carrier. That's number 5 for me. Number 4 was phone selection and phone compatibility. The reason I put it 4 and not 5 is because some people, and I'm one of them, I really want a phone. I might just go to a carrier for it. I've done that before. Like, there was a reason why I was on AT&T for a while I still had Verizon. And that was because I wanted certain GSM phones. So when I wanted a OnePlus, I had to have AT&T or T-Mobile. The better option at the time for me, where I was AT&T. So that's why I put that there. Number 3, I had features. I thought this is important. It deserved to be in the top 3, but the 2 I had in front of it were a bigger thing for me. So features, video resolution, tethering, data allowance, perks, streaming apps and stuff like that. I put that at 3. Number 2 I had was predictability, knowing what I was getting for my provider. If I call customer care, I know they're going to take care of the problem. I don't have any concerns. I don't have any doubts about what next month is going to be like in my experience, right, as a customer. And then number 1, that was the most important thing to me, was network reliability. Does it work every time I need it to? Without just the occasional hiccup is one thing, but if you're at the park on the 4th of July and you can't send a text, that's pretty predictable, right? That could happen. But I should not be having a problem playing music through a streaming app, in a well-developed city, or I should not have a problem watching a YouTube video at 480p on a 1080p plan in a well-developed city. Congestion is unacceptable when you have lots of tower sites or lots of spectrum. Like Sprint having a poor network makes no sense. To have like all that spectrum was really embarrassing. It was bad decisions in their financial, network building plan was all wrong. It just didn't make sense, bro. Verizon has 117 national megahertz of licenses. AT&T's at 167. Before the merger, T-Mobile was at 121 or something. I don't know, whatever it was. Or maybe it was 115. I don't know, somewhere in there. It was very similar to Verizon's. Sprint had like 100 more megahertz than all of them or something. I don't know, whatever it was. 80 megahertz more than AT&T, whatever. So the calling, the tethering performance, the reliability of data transmission, messages getting through, calling without issue, no drops, instant loading of whatever you're doing. Upload matters to me very, very much so recently with more of the streaming. So my order is cost at 5, phone selection at 4, features at 3, predictability with my carrier at 2, and then reliability of network at 1. Caleb, you came in first. Comment, give me your opinions, your thoughts, any of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of what you said, I have to agree with you. As far as my 5 goes, I would say
you could have 5, you could have 4, 3. It doesn't matter. However many you want.
See if I can do 5 here. Probably my number 1 will be network reliability. Having a good signal, especially where I need it. Having that consistency, stuff like that. Knowing that I can look up something or send data if I need to. Number 2 would kind of be a subset of that is call quality. Just because you have a good signal and doesn't mean you're necessarily going to have a great call quality for one, from your phone to whoever you're trying to reach, whether it be a landline, whether it be someone on another carrier. Maybe the other person, has a horrible connection. There's things to do to mitigate that. Number 3 would be plan features and plan arrangements. What am I getting with my plan? What things I look for? I look for good international support, unlimited data, stuff like that. Little tidbits like Wi-Fi plane calling, Wi-Fi data on planes, or for international roaming on Canada, Mexico, stuff like that. Those are all good stuff. Probably the third thing I look for is transparency. Like, I don't want, my a bill to be jacked up, or a feature set to go away, or coverage is here before, not there anymore, stuff like that.
So that's kind of like the credibility and honesty of a carrier. Transparency.
Exactly. Yeah. If you say you're gonna do some,
that's like more like business practices, right?
It is, yeah. So if you say you're gonna, not hike up rates for 3 years, or if you say you're gonna keep this on carrier move for the rest of your, existence, I know you're supposed to honor that. That's pretty big. The fourth thing for me would be, is not necessarily like having to do with carriers, but it has to do with OEMs. We can toss in, Samsung, Google, Apple, Motorola. You can throw in all of them if you want. It's, can you make a phone that works well with, what I do and does what I need to do? Not just for me, but with other people too, And if it can be anything from like great camera to good RF on a phone, it could be good. Good memory, stuff like that. Probably the fifth thing would be, I would say probably innovation. I like it when when cellular carriers, they innovate. They come up with something new. Like, I have this new technology. Like, Sprint was the first to HPUE. They were first to 4G with their WiMAX solution way back when. All that stuff is great. And the more companies innovate, the better. And I think it's pretty cool, huh?
I think a couple of carriers come to mind. I think I know it sounds funny to say it, but T-Mobile innovated plans. T-Mobile innovated like what they call customer pain points.
Oh yeah,
they innovated the consumer side. Sprint innovated technology.
Yes.
Right? Sprint also innovated customer care for a while under Dan Hesse.
Yeah, they did.
Verizon innovated carrier aggregation with advanced LTE. They really took it to the next level, and they deployed it really quickly. That was what they did.
That was huge. That was the best, I would say.
AT&T has innovated, I think, capacity.
Yeah.
There's some markets where I think there's some markets where AT&T has an absurd amount of spectrum, and they like deploy it all. And the single climb, I think they've mastered that because of what Band 14 has done. I don't want to say like it fell in their lap, but it's allowed them to, as they're upgrading towers with Band 14, they're also doing Band 30, and they're doing whatever other antenna upgrades and radio, upgrades. They're doing it all at once. So I feel like they're innovating in tower upgrades, in terms of speed and coverage. Like, they're just doing it on so many sites.
Absolutely. The Band 30, you really notice it. As soon as they lit up, it's really noticeable, and it's really usable too. It's a great spectrum that they have.
It's interesting. You would probably, I don't know, man, because I didn't get to hear what Tim had to say yet. I didn't hear what Carlos had to say yet. I don't know how many people would have put innovation in there, except for maybe you, Caleb. So I'm really glad you brought something to the table like that. Yeah. But so here's what I got from you. Number 5 was innovation. Number 4 was transparency, bill honesty. Number 3 was features and plans. Number 2 was call quality, and number 1 was network consistency.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. No, you threw in OEMs, but it was like sandwiched somewhere between 4 and 5. So I kind of had that too. I had like phone manufacturers like compatibility on the network and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
the network reliability has to do with the call quality as well. So those are together.
Ours are pretty similar, Caleb. I will say there. I mean, you've got a couple things in there that are unique and a little different, but we're pretty close. That's interesting. We kind of had that similar kind of alignment there. Carlos came before Tim. Carlos, you up, bro? Go ahead.
What's up?
Dude, hey, that's like the kid. My students fall asleep in class.
Wake up, Carlos! Wake up,
Mr. Sanchez. What do you think about the the issues going on right now? All right, so we've got the top 5 things. You don't have to pick 5. You could pick 3 if it is 3. What are the reasons why you pick a certain carrier? Like, what goes into your decision making process?
Reliability, consistency.
Okay, you got to give me a sequence or an order at the end, okay? If you're just gonna be, like naming them, at least at the end, give me the order, okay? Or I'll tell you what, you can give me 2 categories. These are kind of important. These are non-negotiables.
Look, to me, important is reliability, bro. I need this to work. I got to be able to go somewhere, especially how I drive a lot. I got to be able to know that it works.
That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's non-negotiable. Like, if it don't work, I don't want you. Get out of here.
All right. Out of here.
2, innovation is important. Caleb is correct. Really does. That's a very important part because we got to see these networks evolve more.
But is that a non-negotiable? Like, that's going to impact the marketplace. But is that a non-negotiable?
No, it's negotiable because not everybody's going to be able to overachieve. Sometimes they might underachieve a little bit because restrictions. So you can't hold them accountable too much on that because the restrictions too play a big role in that.
Yeah.
So, that'd be like saying, the 100% of the United States better be covered with 5G in 5 years. That's impossible.
Mm.
It ain't happening. I don't care how much money you got, how much infrastructure and stuff you got set on. It ain't happening. I don't care. If LT is only blanketed 70-something% of the country, bro, how are you gonna be able to do 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can hold them. We don't have to hold them like straight up. Hold them strong on that. That one can be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, let's see. So reliability, consistency, where it works, bro. We need it to work when you're getting that signal. You want it to work at all times. Doesn't have to be, going 100, 200 megabits a second, but it has to be consistent. It's holding something steady to be able for you to just watch that quick video you want, make that call, get that text out.
Carlos, what is 20 megabits per second download, 20 megabits per second upload worth to you?
That's great. I'll be happy with that. That'll get more than everything done.
Like if that could be the golden standard for 2021, like if somehow, some way there was this blanket network that it was like through satellite and towers and whatever else, they promised you 20 by 20 everywhere you went. What's that network worth to you?
That's gold, bro. So it's straight up. I'll be happy.
I agree. And even 10 by 10.
Yeah.
If I was getting 10 megabits per second for video resolution, for music, for upload, like 10 megabits, like
the slowest you got is 10 by 10.
You'd never get less.
It'll be great if it's more, but the slowest you got is 10 by 10. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You can make everything happen with that.
Because that's what I think of with consistency. What's going to be the slowest moment of usage? Because that's what consistency is. When does the network perform poorly? Is it frequently? Is it occasionally? Or is it never? There are
like Verizon, like we know they're congested at places. They really are. There are spots where I've hit that problem too.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But bro, I can still make my calls.
Mm-hmm.
I could still make my text. I could still stream my music when I'm on the road. And I'd be streaming it on YouTube Music, bro, which that's basically like, video. It's using video. So, and it's doing just fine. it handles it. So that's what matters to me. I might not be able to stream on Periscope at times or something like that because the upload is not there, but everything else is perfect. And that to me, that means more than having a lot of upload, but then I can't make calls, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or having high speeds. I mean, I think differently compared to another consumer, bro. Other consumers, they want 700,
which is
800.
crazy because you're a network snob, like you're a tester, like all of us.
Yeah.
Like you would think you would be really picky about speeds, but you're really not.
I'm not. As long as it can stream my music while I'm on the road, bro, I'm happy.
Bro,
That
pre-merger, T-Mobile used to impress me with their top
did.
speeds. It's different now. It's not the same network. They're going through their thing. But if you wanted speeds, you didn't have Verizon. Like if you're like, oh, I gotta have, moments where I'm getting 350 megabits. No, you were probably getting AT&T.
AT&T or T-Mobile at the time. Yeah.
Seriously, in most cases, right? Is there anything else you want to say? Would you say is either non-negotiable or something that's maybe secondary?
Non-negotiable, bro. Customer service, bro.
Oh wow.
Real.
That's because I think your needs. You do a lot of activations. You do a lot of line additions and ports and stuff. Yeah.
Customer service is a no, bro. If it's not on par, bro, kick rocks.
More important now than it was 5 years ago? Same?
Yeah. More because now they want you to do everything through telephone and stuff a lot more. So to me, that means a lot more now. Before, I wouldn't care. It'd be whatever, bro. They treat me like crap. I'll just go to a store and handle it, and I know I got treated good there, no matter what.
Hey, Vincent. Cesar, thank you for the super chat. This is your second one, and thank you so much. How come T-Mobile plans, taxes, and fees are included, but Verizon, AT&T, and Sprint do not? So what T-Mobile does is they include it all into the bill. There's still taxes and fees in there. They're just saying we'll bundle it all into one service charge, right? Your bill, so that way it's the same and you know what you're paying each month. There's no variability. There's no changes that you see for the sake of transparency and openness. So you know what to expect with your bill. People enjoy it. They appreciate it.
It's enjoyable, but this is where I look at the other end of it. Yes, it's enjoyable. Yes, it helps consumer out. But at the same time, you guys are expecting a lot from this carrier. How can you expect a lot from this carrier when they're eating the cost, and that means they're making less on the plan because they have to lower the plan rate. So that means, let's say they're charging you $60. Say you have a single line, $60. So out of that $60, depending on where you live, it's anywhere between $7 to $20 in the tax. So they're only making, technically, on that $60, they're making about $30-something on the plan.
Well, here's what's
which is the price of prepaid.
here's what's crazy about the tax and fees included. If you live in Chicago and your bill is the same as somebody in Florida, there's something fundamentally wrong about that, because the taxes in Chicago are absurdly higher than somebody who lives in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But they're both paying the same per line on 5 lines or 4 lines. So, and if you think about it, one person's kind of getting screwed. The person in Tuscaloosa is actually paying more than the person in Chicago, technically, like when you look at the proportion of the way the bills are constructed. So actually, it's one of those things like, we're going to play this game. We're taking a little more from these guys than these guys, kind of, So
that's
how that's
they
done.
Got to break even. They got to try to somehow.
Tim, talk about it, bro. This is your thing, bro.
Yeah.
The whole taxes and fees.
This is your thing, bro.
Like here, it's $3.17 a line is what you pay here in taxes. And that's depending on how many lines you have on your account. If it's just one, $3.17 isn't that big a deal. But if you got 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, that's a lot of money just going down the drain, especially when we all want the network. We're begging for it. T-Mobile's getting hounded for it on customer care side and retail stores now. That's the number one complaint: coverage, speeds, connectivity issues. You're not going to get any of it without money. It's just going to stay the same.
Yeah.
That's true. As much as I hate to say it, the cost has to roll down to the customer. There's no choice.
But the business operations, the company, they're in it for the customers. The best businesses give nothing away for free, but they offer a great product at a price that customers are willing to pay.
Yep.
So Carlos goes to a restaurant. Carlos, we know you love your restaurants. All right, what's your favorite? What's the hot ticket right now?
Dude, that Gordon Ramsay restaurant. Man,
All right.
my wife, that shit was awesome, dude.
So you guys go there. He cooks you up a nice fillet. You know,
Yeah.
he gets you some really good asparagus and mushroom. You know, he gets everything going for you, bro. You got Salt Bays over there going like this, bro, spinning the meat. You know, he's slapping it, bam, bro, and it's going to be a great dining experience, and it's going to be the highest quality of food. There is specialty, expertise, and care put into that meal that makes it elite, and customers are willing to pay, right? And then there's people that go to McDonald's, and they will get a double cheeseburger for $1.29, and they're okay with it. They know what they're getting. They got $1.29. Can I have a double cheeseburger, please? Yes, you can. Bro, but hold on a second. I'm just saying, they know what they're getting into. They went in there with $1.29. I'll take a double cheeseburger. So they're not going to yell at McDonald's and say, "Yo, this burger sucked." My dude, $1.29. You get what I'm saying?
But they do. That was when my wife's first job was working at McDonald's. Do you know how many people threw a $1 hamburger at her because it didn't taste right?
But it's $1.
What? Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
The expectation for $1 is just that. Like, okay, so how long does the typical person work to make $1?
Telling the truth.
I believe him. I believe Tipo tells the truth. He is a truth teller. What I'm saying is, bro, do you know what my friend does with McDonald's double cheeseburgers? He repossesses cars. You know what he does? He throws them at dogs to distract them so he can take the cars away.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he does with McDonald's double cheeseburger. That's what he thinks of them. He'll never eat them. He buys 20 every time he goes out to repossess cars. He throws them, distracts the dogs because they haven't eaten all day, and then he hooks up the cars and he leaves. Boats everything,
bro. Because you got to hook and go. You have to hurry up and hook and go.
So I'm just saying the expectation, bro. If somebody was complaining about a double cheeseburger, you know what I would do? Security.
Get this fool out of here. Get him out of here.
Man. Seriously, bro. Now if I'm going to Benihana, okay, right, food expectation is different. If I'm going to Texas de Brazil and my $60, okay, yeah, I need my top sirloin banging. I need my filet banging. I need my what's the other thing they do, bro? By the way, they have a great salad bar. It's crazy good. They got sushi there, the tabbouleh, everything is off the hook.
Dude, it's off the chain, bro. It's worth it.
$60 a plate, bro. Not many people want to go and spend $60 on a plate of food. They'd much rather hang around the $20, $30 mark.
Hell no, bro. Hell no. Not when you go to a place like that, bro. I know what you mean because I love that place.
Carlos goes in there with the Bowser shirt, like, "Yo, what's good, bro?
What's good? I'm in here. Give me this shit."
Right.
But you get what I'm saying? It's an expectation thing.
Yeah.
So I know why Sprint sold their network at the price they did for the last 5 years. They've been behind, bro. Yeah, some markets are good, and some people took advantage of that. Like I get, Maverick talks about Dallas-Fort Worth as being this great Sprint area, and Carlos tells me Vegas is good, and Arizona and Phoenix. Yeah, but what about freaking Tuscaloosa, Alabama? And
get a cheeseburger, yo.
And what about Cleavage, Ohio for Sprint, where they just got rid of 3G like 2 weeks ago, right before the merger? You know, that's how I'm looking at it. So, yeah, I think
they had horrible leadership, bro. After what's his name, Hesse left, bro. It just went to crap, bro. Hesse was the last good CEO for Sprint. He was the one that actually saw vision and executed on the vision after he left, bro. It just went down the hill, the tubes.
Huh.
But the money left in 2010, bro.
Kevin, thank you for the super chat. When I changed the address on my AT&T bill from Houston to the small town, my unlimited elite went from 291 to 243. All right, so yeah, that's county, that's different city taxes. Yeah, it adds up. Thank you for the super chat, Kevin, and appreciate the insight and commenting. Talk to me, Tim. Where you at with this, bro? What's your top 5? What's your non-negotiables? What's your negotiable? How do you want to set this up, bro? Frame it to me. This is the Tim angle. Go ahead, bro.
So my A number 1 is consistency and reliability. I'm just going to lump those together in one. I need to have, when I need my mobile phone to work and I don't have Wi-Fi available, I need the signal, be able to make a phone call, send a text, use data where I need it, and not have to second guess. My number 2 would probably be my rate plan value. Out of the let's say hypothetically I have 4 lines. Out of the $200 I pay a month, what do I get for that $200? Do I get hotspot? Do I get international calling? Do I get Mexico and Canada calling included, or do you have to pay extra? Is it truly unlimited talk, text, and data? Am I getting 1080p video, or am I being throttled to 480? All of that matters to me. My number 3. Number 3 would have to be device availability. I don't want to have to buy a phone just because that's all the carrier has to offer. I want to be able to get iPhone, Google phone, Samsung, Motorola, LG, OnePlus. And I want to get it right there from the store. I don't want to have to go online or wherever. The convenience. Number 4.
Now you kind of put cost in with value, is how I'm seeing it.
Kind of lumped it together, yeah.
So like that would have been like cost to feature ratio, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So you had consistency and reliability of the network, calling, texting, data. You had value. You had the phone selection and with in-store options, and now you're at your 4.
Actually, I'm gonna leave it at 3. That's my main 3.
I mean, that's why I said like you don't need 5, because you kind of bundled some things together and kept them simple. And I think what's good about the way you put that together is a person who walks into a smartphone retailer or a T-Mobile store or a Verizon store, that's kind of how they look at it. 3 things, right? A couple of things. They're like, all right, well, do they got the iPhones I'm looking for? Do they have the Galaxy? Do they have the new Google phone if that's what I want? Moto.
And one big thing that needs to change, your phone should not matter your network optimization. You should not have to go to AT&T to get the best experience on an iPhone. I should not have to go to Verizon to get the best experience on a Motorola or a Pixel. I shouldn't have to be on T-Mobile to get the best experience on a OnePlus. It's broken.
I agree. What carrier you choose should not dictate your experience on a certain phone. You know, a certain chipset, a certain modem, whatever. Ben, thanks for the super chat, man. Thank you. That's really nice of you, bro. At the end of the day, AT&T and Verizon is better. Sneed knows. Excuse me. Yeah. If we're going to be talking about, I think, LT availability and how most people are kind of that are travelers. Carlos, I know Ben drives a lot, bro. Ben drives like
hell yeah,
100,000 miles a year or something.
Bro, I watch him, bro, because sometimes I'm awake at 3 a.m. and I see him pop on, and then I see him on there. He's in El Paso. That's why I just asked him right now, like, how is it in El Paso, Verizon?
San Antonio, right?
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that supposedly Verizon sucks in El Paso, but it ain't. I've heard from other sources too that it's not true.
I was gonna say I would doubt it.
I don't think Verizon has many issues in major markets. There may be some where there's the occasional congestion issue, But I don't.
They had an issue with the Mexican carrier in Juarez interfering with band 13. There was like an interference issue with their band. It was conflicting, same frequency, same megahertz, everything.
Oh,
And
interference.
That sounds horrible, bro.
It was in the same block.
How do you?
It was happening by San Diego too, but they fixed it with band 5. They started putting band 5 up.
Nice.
I read about that.
Mikey, thank you for the super chat. Glad to see the raviolis are doing good tonight. Hashtag ravioli gang. Big hashtag there.
But I know AT&T's king is king in Texas and in Mexico. It's actually really good too when you go to Mexico with AT&T, because now AT&T has service in Mexico. They bought out Nextel and a couple others out there.
We all kind of had the non-negotiables as the same. Nowhere in the non-negotiables were we talking about perks, add-ons, Netflix, insurance, swag, like hats. I mean, we didn't talk about those things. We pretty much stuck to the network. So, Tim, don't do it, Tim. No!
Had to pull it out.
Hold on, Tim. I got something better for you. Hold on. I got something better cooking for you. You want to? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I gave my T-Mobile hat away today, actually.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Caleb.
No, you know why
I did.
he gave it away? Because he was trying to spread the love, bro.
Yeah,
he
spreading
he knows what a real
But
network
to
is.
be fair,
spreading the love.
Did you use your discount code on the B Magenta site for that?
Yeah,
So it was free.
it's free. Yeah, it's free.
Hold on.
Here you go. Yeah.
Oh, he got the apron.
Yeah. We're gonna cook, baby. Yeah. We're gonna cook and burn this bitch. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I gotta take this off, bro. This is horrible.
Bro,
This is
stop.
horrible.
Man.
Oh
Carlos,
man.
I like the apron. It's nice.
No, we gotta burn that.
We gotta burn it.
Bust out the slow cooker.
We're gonna do a
All
slow
right.
cooker Sunday with that.
So here's what we got. We all came in with network performance, reliability, consistency at the top, no matter how we phrased it or whatever. I came in number 2 with like predictability, honesty. Caleb came in with that one at like number 4. I don't know. I think kind of sort of with the value. I think Tim came in at number 2 with that. And Carlos put customer service as a non-negotiable. So we all kind of had that pretty high. Features and plans, Caleb, you said 3. I had features in at 3. Carlos didn't really mention it. It wasn't really
What?
a big thing. The features. You were
honestly, bro. I just want it to work. I don't honestly. If they throw in a damn Netflix, cool, bro. But honestly, bro, I pay for my own Netflix as it is, bro. I don't need their free stuff. I pay for it, bro.
I mean, technically, if the plans were as they stated as unlimited, you wouldn't have to worry with features because it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
but that's been a market issue. I'm not going to say
rather
carrier's fault on that. That's a market issue.
now. You guys tell me this: would you guys rather have truly unlimited, no data caps, no deprioritization after a certain gigabyte? They'll give it to you, but you have to sacrifice all those little freebies. But they'll give it to you, full access, 4K video, whatever.
Including video, everything wide open. I would take it in a heartbeat.
I take that in a heartbeat. Oh yeah.
Okay, then.
I think
That's how I look at it. That's why it's not important to me. I'd rather them open that up and take away some of that free stuff.
Yeah, good point, Carlos.
I know there's some people that have T-Mobile for Netflix. That means a lot to them. They're on Netflix like all the time. It's like their primary entertainment streaming service.
$12.99 is why you chose your carrier.
Yeah. They're like, I get cell service from them, and they're willing to pay my Netflix. I'm in.
More power to you.
But here's the thing, Tim. You're looking at it you're saying a carrier is more than Netflix, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
They're
Carrier is
they're-
your service
they're-
provider. That's it.
But
a carrier is more than
telling you-
$12.99. That's what we're trying to say.
But right, and I agree. But there are people who, because they are cost sensitive and they don't really want to technically pay that, you're still paying for Netflix. It's somehow just worked into your bill. They're just making less money on you, right? T-Mobile is just kind of sort of massaging it, right? So it's like they pay, well, they don't pay $12.99. T-Mobile is paying lower amount to have that service included, right? They're eating probably, what do you think they're eating? About $8?
Give or take.
Okay, so they're paying $8. So they're losing $8 on each line of service to keep you as a customer on that value.
Yo, I got some magenta ice cream I could sell everybody for $8.
Hey, yo, Sneak, can you check the private thing real quick?
Sure.
Because it wasn't cool.
What the heck?
Yeah, bro. Please.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
I want to know is if Netflix on Us goes away and they make you pay for it now, or they just get rid of it, right? And you got to do it independently. Do they lose customers? Will there be a loss of like 10 million subscribers because it's no longer included? Does that happen?
I mean, I'd like to think not, but I guess it's possible.
Okay, because they got 120 million subscribers, and some of them are there for Netflix on Us.
I'm just trying to think. Since they added the Netflix on Us with T-Mobile One, I only know of a handful that actually switched because of the Netflix on Us.
Do me a favor for the rest of the evening. Moderators, please do not block anyone the rest of the way. I'll be taking care of that. Let me know if something needs my attention, please, Carlos.
All right, bro.
Okay. Man. Hulu, Amazon Prime, Tidal. Sprint was giving a lot of stuff. They still couldn't sell. They still had the least amount of subscribers, right? They still couldn't make any headwind, in market share. That proves it's not a game of included perks and features. It's still a network game, right? That's the most important thing. That's still the primary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I gave you guys my list. You gave me your list. Based on my list, I only need one carrier. Verizon. Based on my list, I only need one carrier. I only need Verizon. There's one thing I want. I wish they had the tethering that AT&T offered. But that's the only thing. I will work with everything else. That is the only thing. I wish I had a little bit more tethering data. I wish I had probably double. Right? I wish I had some more. That's really it. And I think I could get more if I change my plan. Then the value starts to bother me a little bit. I feel like I'm getting kind of ripped off to get that, because a single line of what I would want would get about to $100 a month before taxes. You know what I'm saying? It's absurdly high for wireless. But if I only could have one carrier, I just one. It's Verizon. That's how my list worked out for Verizon. Carlos, or no, Caleb, you were in there. I don't know. Is this fair to ask you? I don't know, man.
No.
It's not fair to ask you. I mean, who?
I look at it like this. I'm
just
not
go
gonna
by
say.
color. Just say color, bro. Cause we don't. Yeah, we know. Just say color.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
I think
what's your color you prefer?
here's what I think. I think, every carrier learns something from the other carriers. Like, can you imagine if we only had just one carrier to choose from?
Not good.
Right? That would be horrible.
Worse.
Even when we had, way back when we had Alltel, when we had Nextel, as time went on, each of the carriers learn something about how to improve the game, right? As I would say, whether on network or price or customer service, right? I mean, I think Verizon has learned a huge amount from T-Mobile on customer service cues and issues. I think, and this doesn't go for cellular carriers, how everybody learns from each other. This is through everything, except maybe the airline industry, because good lord. But that's my point. I think that's why competition is great, because it brings the heat. It brings that drive to say, hey, we did this. You can now follow us or learn from us, or we're doing this next, or we have this in the pipe, or we're doing this in the future. I think that's what makes America great. I think that's what makes the carriers great, and just and for customers too, because the customers get to benefit from it, and that's what matters to me.
I want to give a shout out to Gene. Thanks for the super chat. I don't know. I guess I missed it. I apologize for that. Thank you for the donation. Also, Jamil with the super chat. Hey, Yoda, you good sir. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate the super chat, man. You're always kind enough to offer donations and support, and I thank you for that. And yeah, we're at the hour mark. We're pretty much wrapping things up here, because we get to everything we wanted to talk about. I just think sometimes you got to frame it. You have conversations about who's the best carrier. It's really frustrating when I get a DM from an SMT Nation member and they say, hey, I'm thinking about switching carriers. Who should I go with? That's the worst kind of question you could ask. I don't know where you live. I could send you to the route metrics report. I could send you the open signal data. I have never been to the city you live in, so I'd refer you to that data. I would ask you, who do you have? Why do you want to leave? What are your negotiables and your non-negotiables? There's so much there, because for a fact within some markets, Metro by T-Mobile is a great option. And it's not an MNO. It's a prepaid carrier. And there are some markets, we know that Sprint is really good, where Boost Mobile could have been a good option. And I can tell you guys right now, if you're in the CLE, Visible is a great option. And that's a prepaid operator of Verizon. So those are specialties in value. Those are specialties in bargain and pricing. And that can work for people. And Cesar, we're gonna let's since we got Caleb here, maybe he has some insight on this. Has T-Mobile upgraded any new tower sites or existing tower sites in the Los Angeles South Bay area? Any insight on the region or what they're doing there?
South Bay is not Los Angeles. South Bay is we at least refer to that for San Francisco area. That's Bay area.
He was asking about the two areas.
Los Angeles, we're nothing because we're slowly working on that. San Francisco, however, I know they just recently launched their 600 megahertz, so they're trying to get enough 2.5 out there, expand it, but for LA, we're trying to have preliminary discussions on network improvement.
So that hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of insight on what they're doing out there. What else do you guys want to add? Anything? The conversation today was pretty good. It kind of addresses what people think about when they get a plan or get a carrier or something like that. I kind of think about like where Dish falls into this a couple years from now. As they build out their 5G network, how reliable is it?
Hey, bro. What's his name has been testing a lot in Alex. He's been testing it a lot up in Jersey. Mm-hmm. And honestly, bro, he's getting really good priority. He's getting better priority than T-Mobile. And he has T-Mobile postpaid.
So they're not allowed to throttle and deprio according to the sessions.
Yeah, but that's crazy that he's getting a better access.
Yeah. But if that's the point, they're going to be the last ones deprioed. The first ones to get deprioed will be T-Mobile customers.
But still, that's wild, bro. That you got Dish. This is showing what access Dish got.
They have to,
Yeah.
bro.
He's been
There's
testing it.
if they fear the DOJ, they're going to operate like this. If they don't fear the DOJ, maybe their name's like Verizon. Maybe they just go ahead and let it rip and say, yeah, we're not deprofiling anything.
Yeah, that's why I want to get that sim. I'm gonna go get it tomorrow and see how the access is.
Oh, nice.
Sneed, you're freezing. Did we lose him, guys?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Oh,
He's coming back.
You guys got me? I'm good.
yeah.
Good.
You're good. You're good now.
All right. Well, then that's telling me to just shut the hell up and get off of here. Thank you guys for being here before this thing crashes for good and you guys start throwing spears.
No, you're
frozen.
No,
You know,
you're
here
good
we
now. Yeah, you're good. You're good now. I think it just had a hiccup for a second.
My goal was to be an hour. So if you guys
Yeah.
are trying to do a Periscope thing or something after, I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm going to be setting up the router this week, Pete. Thank you. Super chats from everybody. Tony Phony Baloney, the homie. Appreciate you, man. Cesar Barajas with super chats. Thank you. A couple of them. Thanks, man. Very nice of you. Kevin Taylor with a donation as well with a super chat. Planet Earth came through, donated. Mikey Tech Review, thank you for yours. Gene, appreciate your super chat. We also got one, I believe, from Jamil. So you guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting me. I'm gonna continue to do network testing. I'll continue to buy phones. I'll continue to access the networks, give you guys my thoughtful and unbiased opinion as best as I can. I'll continue to do that. The march to 10,000 subs continues. We're getting close. What are we at here for subs here? I know we're approaching 10,000. How close are we to 10,000?
9.93K it says.
9.93K. So we need like 70.
Are you doing a
giveaway? I could do a giveaway.
Like a BlackBerry giveaway?
Dude, I sold that thing.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. I'm probably gonna ship it. The guy still hasn't paid me for it, but he messaged me. He said, "Look, dude, I need 24 hours to deposit the money. It'll be there in a day." I'm like, "All right. If it's not there tomorrow, I'm relisting." Annoying. Some people are trying to lowball me and stuff. Thanks, Mike P. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the super chat. Thank you, Dan, for the super sticker. Maybe you got a fist pump or something. I don't know. Those super stickers are crazy.
The cool one. That's cool.
You are the man, Dan Malone. I'm going to start calling Dan Malone Post Malone for the super chat. Thanks, bro. Pretty much it. Thank you to the moderators. # Mod Squad. Thank you to everybody watching this in the live. # 2Live Crew. Thank you to everybody on replay. Replay crew. #homies. Caleb, Tim, and Carlos. You guys are the best. Thanks for spending an hour with me, taking time out of your day. It's pretty much it. All the people we got, the SMT Nation, you guys are the best. Thank you for everything. And that wraps this one up. Anything for the good of the order, boys?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
I think we're good, bro.
Party like a rock star. I remember that song from like 05. So peace. We'll see you guys in the next.
Peace.